They say there's a savannah that history forgot, a place that once held a civilization so advanced it vanished without a trace, leaving behind only whispers and legends. For centuries, explorers searched for it. They found nothing. Until now. This is the story of the Lost Savannah, and the secret that changes everything. Africa, a continent of legends, of kingdoms that rose like stars and disappeared like smoke, of knowledge systems so sophisticated they rivaled anything in the ancient world. But one legend stands out above all others: the Lost Savannah. Oral histories speak of it across different regions, different languages, different tribes, all telling variations of the same story. A kingdom that thrived in a hidden valley, protected by mountains and mist. A civilization that mastered astronomy, mathematics, agriculture, and medicine centuries ahead of their time. And then, nothing. As if the earth swallowed them whole. Historians dismissed it as myth. Colonial archaeologists searched and found empty plains. But the elders kept telling the story, generation after generation, insisting it was real. And they left something behind. Our explorer heard the legend as a child, dismissed it as an adult, but couldn't shake it. Something about it felt true. So when rumors surfaced of strange artifacts appearing in a remote village, the pull was irresistible. It's here, in this forgotten corner of the world, that everything changes. Partially buried, almost invisible beneath layers of soil and time, a relic unlike anything documented before. Its surface bears symbols, intricate, deliberate, purposeful. But here's what makes this different. These symbols match the descriptions from the old stories. They match the legend of the Lost Savannah. This can't be, the explorer whispers, hands trembling slightly. This is supposed to be a myth. But myths don't leave physical evidence. And this artifact, it's a map. Not of the kingdom itself, that would be too easy. It's a map to the truth. A puzzle left by people who knew their civilization was ending, who encoded their final message in stone, knowing that someday someone would be clever enough or stubborn enough to decode it. The hunt for the Lost Savannah begins. Following the clues carved into that artifact leads deep into the savannah. Not the savannah you see in documentaries. This is different. Wilder, more remote. The kind of place where GPS signals fade and modern maps show nothing but blank space labeled uninhabited. The kind of place where a kingdom could hide. Tall grasses, golden in the morning light, sway like ocean waves in the warm African wind. Somewhere in the distance, a herd of elephants moves silently across the plains, giants walking on tiptoes. A tower of giraffes nibbles at acacia trees, their heads rising above the landscape like sentinels guarding ancient secrets. Out here, you're reminded of something important. Civilizations rise and fall, but nature endures. And sometimes, nature keeps secrets better than any vault. The journey tests everything. Rivers must be crossed, their currents swift and unforgiving. Hills that look gentle from a distance reveal themselves as steep climbs. The sun beats down relentlessly, and at night, the temperature drops so fast you can see your breath. But each decoded symbol on the artifact points the way. Turn at the river where 3 acacia trees stand. Follow the ridge where the rock formation looks like a sleeping lion. Count 30 paces from the stone that bears a spiral mark. This is how the Lost Savannah stayed hidden for so long. It wasn't marked on any map. The location was encoded in the land itself, a puzzle that only makes sense when you're actually standing in these specific places, seeing what the ancient map makers saw. And then, something remarkable happens. The landscape begins to change. Subtle at first, unusual rock formations, soil that's a different color, plants that seem out of place. These aren't random. They're signs that people lived here, built here, thrived here. The Lost Savannah isn't a myth. It's just ahead. Behind a cascading waterfall, hidden from casual eyes, Carved into the cliff face itself, there's an entrance. Massive stone pillars frame a doorway that's been concealed by centuries of vegetation and erosion. But once you know it's there, once you see it, it's unmistakable. This is the gateway to the Lost Savannah. The passage leads deep into the mountain, and the walls are alive with story. Thousands of carvings covering every available surface, depicting something extraordinary, an entire civilization's knowledge system, preserved in stone. These aren't just decorations. This is an archive, a library, an encyclopedia carved by people who knew their world was ending. Astronomical charts showing constellations and planetary movements with startling accuracy. Agricultural techniques that allowed them to grow food in challenging conditions. Mathematical principles that wouldn't be discovered in Europe for another 1,000 years. Medical knowledge of herbs and healing practices that modern researchers are only now beginning to validate. But here's the secret. Here's what makes the Lost Savannah different from every other ancient civilization. They weren't isolated. These carvings show trade routes, diplomatic connections, cultural exchanges with civilizations across Africa, from the Mediterranean coast to the southern tip, from the Atlantic to the Indian Ocean. The Lost Savannah wasn't a single kingdom. It was a hub, a nexus, a meeting place where knowledge from across the entire continent converged, was shared, was built upon. They weren't lost, the explorer realizes, voice barely above a whisper. We lost them. We forgot to look. We forgot to listen. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. This level of sophistication, this interconnected network of knowledge and trade, it doesn't fit the narrative we've been told about Africa's past. So it was easier to call it myth than to acknowledge what actually existed here. The passage opens on the other side of the mountain, and what lies beyond takes your breath away. A valley, hidden, protected by natural barriers, invisible from the air unless you know exactly where to look. And in this valley, the Lost Savannah. But it's not lost in the way we imagined. The ruins aren't catastrophic. There's no sign of conquest or destruction. Instead, what you see is something more profound. A civilization that chose to return to the earth on its own terms. Stone buildings constructed with such precision that no mortar was needed, still standing after centuries. Terraced agricultural systems that show an understanding of water conservation and soil management. Observatory platforms aligned perfectly with celestial events. Tools and pottery that demonstrate craftsmanship at the highest level. And here, finally, is the secret of the Lost Savannah. The reason they vanished from history. They saw it coming. The carvings tell the story. Climate shifts, political upheaval, the collapse of trade routes. They saw the signs decades before it happened, and instead of fighting an unwinnable battle, they made a choice. Preserve the knowledge, protect the vulnerable, and transition deliberately rather than collapse catastrophically. It wasn't a mystery, the explorer says, the pieces finally fitting together. It was a plan. They didn't disappear. They transformed. The people integrated into neighboring communities, carrying their knowledge with them. The physical city was left as an archive, a time capsule, a message to the future. The encoded map wasn't just directions to a place, it was an invitation, a test. When humanity is ready to learn from the past instead of plundering it, they seem to say, we'll be waiting. And that changes everything. As the explorer begins the journey home, the weight of the discovery settles in. The Lost Savannah wasn't lost at all. It was hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to ask the right questions. And that realization is both humbling and exhilarating. Because here's what the secret of the Lost Savannah teaches us. Africa's story has never been about what was lost. It's about what was preserved, what was transformed, what endures. The knowledge carved into those walls, it lives on in agricultural practices still used today, in mathematical concepts, in astronomical observations, in medical traditions, in the resilience of communities that have weathered every storm thrown at them. The people of the Lost Savannah didn't vanish. Their descendants are here right now, building, creating, innovating. That same genius that constructed observatories and irrigation systems is designing apps, launching satellites, writing code, composing music, solving problems that affect the entire world. And that's why this channel exists. Because the Lost Savannah is just one story. There are thousands more, kingdoms and innovations and individuals whose contributions have been overlooked, erased, or deliberately hidden. Stories that prove Africa has always been at the center of human achievement, not the margins. Future Africa isn't about looking backward with nostalgia. It's about understanding that the past, present, and future are connected. That the same brilliance that built the Lost Savannah is building Africa's tomorrow. And that these stories, these incredible world-changing stories, deserve to be told. So here's my question for you. What else have we been told was lost, or primitive, or mythical, that's actually been here all along? Ready to find out? Join Future Africa. Subscribe to uncover the secrets hiding in plain sight. Your journey into the real Africa starts now.